Amazing and very good and very spectacular and of course incredibly invincibleistic. Cool. Evening on this evening edition of Fire of Liberty. This is your host, Christopher Malcolm Bone. This is the evening edition of Fire of Liberty. Transcending space and time, creating a very fantastic heaven-nescent place on Earth. This acceleration of this golden age, this age of enlightenment and this age of renaissance, creating grand, heavenescent, beautiful fruitional understandings. This indeed broadcast will be particularly brief. However, many fantastic, grand, beautiful fruitions are coming into the future. So what does that mean? What does it mean that we can not only live in unity with every single form of creation, but not only that we can anchor our own multidimensionality into the existence of what it means not only to live in paradise and heaven on earth in the physical, but to, of course, experience in the higher dimension. It means that this sort of timeline collapsing is because of cosmic rays. Okay, let's put it this way. You have a sprinkler system. Sprinkler system goes in a certain length normally of what previous sprinkler systems do, of what we understand as sprinkler systems previously. Water is sprayed to fuel the entire area of energy. It's just an analogy, and it's not even needed to be used. Because the type of magnificence that exists, especially not only as galactic creators, but as universal creators, is an important aspect of not only who we want to become, but who we are. Or, excuse me, not only who we are, but who we want to become. A very spectacular, peaceful, and renaissanceistic understanding of the ascendance that we're a part of. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's spectacular. It's honest. It's real. And it's incredible that the evanescent beginning, for example, it's already been known, but the anchorage of the light that is being created in this golden city. It's beautiful. It's heavenessly spectacular to not only witness, because here's the amazing thing, here's the spectacular thing, and it's so amazing. Physical. It's in the physical. I have always had the honor to build that golden city forever, eternally. This is heaven's realm. This is higher vibration. This is the understanding of heavenessence and anchoring higher mind frequencies in mind to that which we want to create. This is heaven on earth. And it's an important part, and I say, to look in the future, just speaking in 3D, to look in the future and to say and to see and to experience all that bliss that you want to experience in that future tense, because I've been doing it for a very long time. But the issue was, and here is the truth, I've always been precognitive, but I've never, it's important to never say never, but here's the thing, I'm not going to say never, but I'll put it this way. Which is a weird thing, and I don't really mean this as in a weird thing, but as in like It's interesting to comprehend because once again I am multidimensionality continuously because there is no such thing as time. But for example, and this is why I was the kid I was, which is weird to say, but still, it's important that I speak this story because it's me, it's my story, it's my world of how I developed peace on earth and heaven on earth in the physical, because that is, well, that's why I'm here. So that's obviously why I'm here. So I couldn't really see past 20 years old. I couldn't see myself as an adult. You know? I couldn't, and there's no such thing as you can't. So let's put it this way. I knew everything I wanted to be. I knew everything I could be. I knew everything that I was able to be, per se, at a young age. I just had a vast amount of wisdom. Of course, I always have a vast amount of wisdom. So, when it comes to, you know, things that don't exist, and this is, going off of what was previously explained in the last broadcast, when it goes off of things that don't exist, such as limitations, and limitations don't exist. So when things are present and things that don't exist, then the future sight is unto that which doesn't exist, which actually does exist. Because here's the thing, and this is because I knew it right away, and that's the amazing thing, because I was immediately, which is very very key. And maybe it was just creation itself, in my creation that I made, but maybe it was because here's what the sense was. Where are these? Which is what. Anyway, where are these? Because and this is what I originally entered into, which is a huge paradigm shift, which is just shocking. But I say it like fully straight out. Why are you angry? Nothing I do has to do with any type of anger, and that's a weird way to put it. But think about it this way: am I supposed to be affected by that emotional anger? 1, 2. And this is a weird question. This is totally weird, because this is dealing with physical, which doesn't exist. At the same time, it doesn't exist. So let's put it this way, back to the point, which is, just a sort of, amazing lesson sort of thing, which is magical. Because, and this is the truth of why it's magical. Of course, why I've been doing it for so long. Wow, magical. It is the fact of the matter that, one of the facts of the matter that, 1, wow, epiphany. 2, we are unlimited. I mean, that's kind of obvious. I could. It's a very very weird way to describe it, but I'm just being honest. When I was 6, 7, 8, 9, when I was 5 and 4, definitely was 4. I was definitely strong on that. Anyway, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot of emotions going around, meaning, and I mean it in a positive way, because I'm creating, once again, I'm creating paradisical heaven on earth, for 1. For 2, or for like the second part of this statement, for B, for Singapore, C, letters, all this stuff, linear. I'm speaking in linear. And for, of course, I never speak in limited manners, but that's what linear is, and it's important to speak in this way, so we can understand this transition into, once again, higher Heavenessence and spiritual matter. So that's my duty. That's one of my duties. And I love it. I love anyway. So just going back to the free will thing. understanding. There's no way that with limited reality that I would live past, or I would think past, or I could even expand past, because I was thinking ahead, when I was 8, 23, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. However, 8, 5. So 13 years ahead, easily. 13 years ahead, easily. I mean, absolutely easily. Wow. Like, when I was 8, I knew that there were certain things that were, with the current things that are going on, which is actually 2001, which is incredibly ironic. But 2001, I was 8 years old. And I knew that reality in 13, well, is that the right math? 8 or 13? 8, 9, 10, 11. No. 10, 13, no, 15. 15, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 15. 15 years. Holy cow, it's been 15 years. 15 years would not be, well, actually, 16 years. Anyway, 17 years, 18 years. That time frame. It was so potent that it needed to be done then. All it is, it's a wave, and it's so real. It is so real. I mean, there's no other way to say it, because just being absolutely realistic here, just being totally realistic here, there's no way. There is no way. If there was one person other than me, if there was one person other than me, it would be Stephen Greer. And there is no way that there is a coincidence with what occurred when he was a younger child. And that, quote, I mean it very seriously, of course. I'm not just being, just like saying, oh, it's just this, but in that serious near-death experience that he experienced when he was young, and then we're this wave. If it took two people, if it was just two people, and it was both of us, that is so potent and necessary. And it is such a powerful word, the N word. That is such a powerful word. And I don't even like, well, I do like using it, but I don't even like using it. But that N word, necessary. That word is the very glue for thought form. That is the ascension that is needed to make everything that happened happen. It's not, and here's the thing that really creates everything else. For example, creates every single experience that he experienced and every single experience that I experienced is that N word. And that N word is necessary. That is probably, what I spoke about Wednesday, when I used the D word. I used the D word a lot. And I used the D word multiple times. It was probably Tuesday. Anyway, that frame of Tuesday and Wednesday. It's amazing how that is not a coincidence once again. Because where are the energies understood? Of course, in the sun. Anyway. I use the D word a lot. I use the word dangerous. That one word, dangerous, and that other word, necessary, is full responsibility for the avatarship creator manifestation of the eternal purpose of what needs to be done in the heavenescent realms of anchoring what is our duties here upon this mission upon planet Earth. Never, ever is it forgotten, and never, and I just said, I should never use the word never, but never is the understanding of what is not understood. So what does that mean? It's a very, very interesting and precarious word, because once again, there's only one human being that uses the N-word, and there's two N-words. And actually, one of them shouldn't be used that much. So, we already know which one that is. And for two, the word necessary means that. What does that mean? What is the manifestation of what can be created, for example? Let's put it this way. The limitlessness of the potential of what exists already in the heavenest qualities of paradisical, not paradoxical, but paradisical relationships. It's beyond space-time. Because so there's some things that we can do that do link what we understand with science and physics to this, but there's things that just can't. And it literally requires faith. Why is that? Because it is such a weird path that we have to go down. And this is so weird that I have to use myself constantly as the example. Constantly, but I'm able to do that. Why? Because I am that I am. Now, watch, listen, witness, and be the spectacle of spectacular, which is really what spectacle means. Or that's anyway. 18. How in the world am I gonna, and I'm not, okay? I never will. And once again, I'm using the N-word I should never use, but I will not. Dude, I'm not. I knew. Okay. And here's the sort of paradox kind of thing, which is not really a paradox, but it's a sort of understanding of necessary statements. No way. Am I agreeing? For example, there's no way that it's going to work out. And there's no way it's going to work in the future, and there's no way it's going to work out. And here's what I mean. When, for example, someone who's entering that stage of what is considered adult, which is the age of 18, which has been proclaimed by some state, that, for example, and what I mean is, for example, anyway, it's old forms. I'm speaking in new and old, which is a weird language, but I'm just going to go straight to the point. So, and this is, for example, me as an example, which is beautiful, super awesome. How is something that's unlimited, or something that's just, here's the thing. Education for oh goodness gracious. Why go into a long period of time learning about and spending a lot of, currencies and going through an education system or program, which is, of course, the military, industrial, educational, financial complex, etc., all that stuff, to go through a certain system. And what am I saying is it's not the D word, of course. The other D word, oh my goodness. Okay, so there's two N words and there's two D words. Anyway. It's not the other D word, alright? It's not, which is a very fantastical, potent, but once again, I'm digressing. Majorly. Just with explaining this one word. Because I can digress into a word which is a very potent ability. Anyway, D. O-U-B-T. And we already know that. So, once again, moving on. The fact of the matter that, for example, and I'm going to be very blunt with this, you go into a system, goodness gracious, previously, and I mean previously, because previously, and thank goodness we've already passed that threshold and already passed that line marker. So I'm saying this once again, as that's for example one way that leaders lead. They just push everything from behind and they just shove it forward into the future in a positive way. Anyway, so let's do this way. Oh, which is actually absolutely true. But I still need to do. Well, better say I still need to do this, and I still need to. Anyway, bear with me. So this explanation right here. So the future. So 18 years old. 18, which was okay. Let's give a year, which happens to be. Oh no way! No way. Was that year 2012? Oh no, it was. It was 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, 2012 was that year of course, the recognition and understanding just from innate emotion itself. There's no way that this is the reality that we have to live in. There's no way that we're going to form this. And did I do this alone? No. I would. Anyway. It's just not possible. Anyway. I mean, think about it. Is it. Anyway. Okay, let's just think about it. Because this is an important thing to. That's 3 times that I just said that. It's important to say, so let's do this. Is it possible for one human being to go through this change of 2012 alone? If one human being stood up to do this change, do you know what happens when one ant stands up? We know what happens. That ant goes to a plant, and that plant becomes once again 30 trillion times more powerful, times of infinity. So 30 trillion times infinity is, that's the power potency behind that ant. So whatever that number is, I don't even feel like doing the math right now. Anyway, so that's what happened. That's weird, but that's what happened in 2012. I say it's weird because I can say it's weird. I'm a creator anyway. There's no way that the financial system that existed currently in 2012 was going to sustain the future. So what do you got to do? What did I have to do? I had to go along with it. Why? Because here's the N word again. Here and I don't like the N word. I don't like it anymore. I'm not going to use it anymore tonight. That's for certain. I don't like the N word. I really don't. And it's not like I don't like it. Everything is oneness, so it doesn't matter. Or it does matter, but it doesn't matter anyway. So let's put it this way. Which is an interesting thing about oneness anyway. This is what I wanted to do, what I really wanted to do, which is weird, but I wanted to do this, which is so weird how things turn like they did. Anyway, 5 years is some kind of magical number. Anyway, I know why now, because I always knew why. Anyway, 2012, entering into debt world, when I really wanted to just, for example, earn work and then go to school, and to be more mature. I actually wanted to be mature. For example, Vedic teachings. Not saying that Vedic teachings are the only way that you can know where you need to go into, but be independent per se, and then go into this establishment, this educational complex, and then this educational complex, which is, for example, let's just put a name to it. Let's just call it something, but it doesn't have a per se thing. So bear with me, because I'm once again speaking on multiple dimensions and multiple realities in a positive way. And because we already passed that marker, also, by the way. Because once again, hello, hee hee, on the time capsule, wake up. Okay, anyway, in a positive way, that's what it. Just going straight to the point. It's better just go straight to the point. marker that we have to pass per se is, accepting, yes. Okay, just bear with me when I say this. Accepting, yes, I'm going into this thing which has nothing to do with anything in my future. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Absolutely zip, zilch, blah. Nothing at all to do with my future. Nothing. I mean, oh goodness, that felt so good to say that. Everything I did had nothing to do with my future. What does that mean? How can I work towards my future while having absolutely nothing to do with it? That is when free will comes in, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? Very magical moment that I just spoke right there. So, all that stuff, all that stuff. There's all this nonsense with financial, with these entities that are just massive, just have pretty much massively amounts of the world's currency and all that stuff, and they can just print paper whenever, and then and I'm explaining this just on layman's terms, and we understand the details behind it, which is why I can say this stuff because I am able. I'm probably one of the only ones that are able to do this sort of thing. Anyway, that's a weird word, able. Anyway, so creating. Anyway, excuse me, skipping to the part. Able to. Okay, so we're entering to this. It's going to be this cost. It's immediately go into is this is the cost benefit lots of costs. Might as well just be blah 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 barking because that's all that goes on, because that's all that goes on, For example, we support all. Okay, and it's just a weird thing once again. So bear with me, because I'm going to the nitty gritty. Barking, you're just barking, because it's all this falsehood of competition of human beings against another human beings in a false system of where we shouldn't be in the first place, because it's a false road of falsehood that's full of fakeness and stupidity. What do I mean by that? How can I say such things like that? That sounds incredibly hurtful. Well, it's not. One, it doesn't sound incredibly hurtful. Two, it's not incredibly hurtful. Three, because once again we're aware of higher dimensions and we're stronger than that, which is why I was able to say that. Ooh, interesting word to phrase it, because once again time doesn't exist too. Why I'm able to say that now, and two, why I was able to do it then in the way I did it. So here's the thing. When it comes to trust, it is a very incredibly valuable thing. When I went into this system, which is such a weird thing about disclosure, because that's what disclosure is. It's not about, oh my goodness, I had a huge epiphany. I have disclosure. There's no doubt about it. I'm disclosure. Whoa, that's cool. All right, so, and here's why, because once again, and because I just had epiphany. Yeah, that space I want to say space captain for the Marines. That did is he did this is an explanation of his tour. I would definitely specifically remember his interview about the first time he saw, for example, that triangular craft, and that experience that he had in the ages right after high school, which once again is a wave form of longitudinal wave capacity and stuff like that. So once again, it's weird that I sent that to him, because I'm responsible for that sending message that I sent at that time, because what's on my wrist anyway. I was at the point where I was saying, I am disclosure, because what I'm doing is disclosure for what is going on for the last 5 years, which I could say which is super spectacular because, once again, 2012, what human beings were graduated in 2012 and why is that so key? Okay, it's so spectacular. Anyway, I knew that. 2012, I was going to a system that's, financially corrupt and was not going to get me anywhere because it's not a fulfilling thing and there's better solutions. So I thought solutions back then of what could be the better solution. I wrote tons and 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 literally tons of, well, actually, is it tons? But I actually probably wrote a ton. I could say it's at least a ton of paperwork. And unfortunately, some of that paperwork is gone. It has been. But, anyway, I'm not too bothered about that. To be honest, I was a little bit distraught when it happened, when that notebook was no longer in when that whole backpack was no longer in my possession. But anyway, things change. So, but I guess it was it. Anyway, so I got one thing I started thinking for myself, which is something that's incredibly taboo on this planet. Was incredibly taboo on this planet. Started thinking for yourself. Because nobody does. That was so rude. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's just being blunt. But anyway. No, saying nobody thinks for themselves. Anyway. I started thinking, there is a way, which is totally weird, totally crazy at that time, but there is a way, which is why it worked. Because from then on, well, everything changed. And it's so weird to say it like that, but yeah, from then on, everything changed. I wrote notes. I said, there's a way, and it was very, very primitive back then. But it's like, if we, work together and come up with this new system, and here's how I thought it back then. Here's how I thought about it back then. It was like, there's a way to create abundance. All right, we can do that by connectivity. By that connectivity, meaning if for example you want to go to a destination, I made it very, very simple. If you want to go to a destination, holy cow, which is awesome because that is working. And that's not even it is my idea. Whoa. Anyway, if you want to go to a destination, where's that notebook? I want my notebook back. I know you're listening to this, whoever has my notebook. I want my notebook back. Because I just realized. Anyway, I want my notebook back. Like, now. Wherever you are. It had everything in it, alright? It had my notebook. It had freaking, whatever it is, 31, the book on war by whoever that guy is, Robert Greene, is that his name? Anyway, and it had some clothes in it. It had my stuff in it, alright? That backpack, I want it back. I want that stuff. I know it's out there. I'm saying that right now. I know where it was when it was removed from the location that I played. I want that backpack back. And I know my notebook is in there. That's what I want my note. I know it's there. Because I know it's out there. I know this reality is created. Because I know. Anyway. I seriously want that notebook back. I know it's out there. Give me my notebook. I want that notebook in my hands. It better be in my hands. If it's not, then I'm going to find it anyway. Just had to say that. Alright, so in the notebook was, once again, talking about the very simple thing. If you're going to, for example, drop someone off at school. And someone else is also going that direction. Once again, you drop them off. That is the system of unity, I'm taking huge leaps in that just simple explanation. But once again, you know, if that person wants to go to that intoxication, you know, it's kind of like, it's more than neighborly. You know, you're like, you know, you're going to that distance anyway, so you share that. You know, you save a lot of gas, you save a lot of money, you save a lot of time because you're both going the same route. And that route is where you need to go. That's where it's taking you. You know, so that's where it's going, and that's where it's headed. And then you know that could be a routine thing. So that works with food, and so I mean not just with transportation, but with food. So the example I wrote from what I'm trying to remember was, um, you got a bunch of food, then you just, I know it. It's in the notebook. Anyway, um, got a bunch of food, and you can, or there's a way for abundance because there's, for example, the food in a refrigerator is food, and just the food that's grown is food. So anything that's just, and this actually could just be worked from common sense, and this could be done multiple ways. But you just have that excess food, and then it's all like you have one garden per city, and everything is in abundance because there's just so much, and it's too much even because there's always a surplus in food. There's always a surplus in food. That's There's a lot of things written in that notebook. There's a lot of notes taken about stuff that occurred, and it was such a huge monumental growing process. It was so weird. I had to do it on my own. It was so fantastic that I got this far. That me as an airman did all the things that I did, and I stuck to my weird instincts. I could call them weird. I'm the only one who can call it weird. No one else can call it weird, except for, if you were born in 2012, then you can call me weird. But if you're not born in 2012, you can't call me weird. That's the new rule. If you're born after 2012, you're allowed to call me weird. If you're born before 2012, you're not allowed to call me weird. If you're born before 2094, you're like, you can't even, you like, I just might as well be Heavenessent creation in manifested form, because I am greatness. All right, there's no denying that. And I should be able to strut and walk my walk because I got 5-year-olds who are badass. All right, let's just be straight honest with that. I got 5-year-old badasses. They're 5 years old. They're just 5 years old. There's five. Well, because it's 2012, it's 2017. Goodness gracious, look how I'm speaking. It's 2012. It's 2017. 5 years have gone by. We're badass, all right. I'm so, you wouldn't believe, and that's what's so miraculous. You wouldn't believe how close I am with 5-year-olds. Every single 5-year-old. I love 5-year-olds, and it's so amazing how close I am. Anywho, they're smart. Because when I was 4, I knew I was the king of the world. I knew it. I was like, well, here's the thing. I was kind of waiting for it. I was like, when I'm 4 years old, I'm gonna be this. Because I was thinking in linear ways, which is, anyway. I felt that awesomeness anyway. Anyway, I think that was enough. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So, and imagine, anyway. So let's put it this way. Oh my goodness gracious! I almost forgot. Anyway, we have a lot of things to do. I was just going straight to the point. So yes, 2012 was that age a year which I literally paved the way, trailblazed to create anything that needs to be created so that human beings can recognize their own inner potential and just forget about all the nonsense external stuff that, for example, previously, the Cabal did. I'm not blaming it on the Cabal. I don't do that. I'm not a coward. I take full responsibility of everything that happens on this planet. And so that's what I do. So believe in me, and I promise you, you'll be in good hands. There's no doubt about that, all right? It's freaking planned. It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. Possum awesome. It's possum awesome. Anyway. Jeez, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Anyway. Other thing is that I would like to mention. Heavenessent realms, okay? Heavenessent realms. Heavenessent realms, heavenessent realms, heavenessent realms, heavenessent realms, heavenessent realms, heavenessent realms. I refuse to limit you. I refuse. I will not do it. I will not limit your beings. I will not limit your character. And if I do, then it's just my bliss coming through. Alright? It's magic grace that's always incarnate. This is your host, Christopher Maka Despone, created being of light, leader of creational, universal might, galactic citizen, galactic? Yeah, galactic. I'm galactic too. I'm a galactic, galactic, meaning, galactic being of light, being of love, being creation light, being of courage, honesty, and perseverance. Once again, this type of stuff that I do, once again, as for example, the Big Buddy as the creator, being as a manifester of all types of realms and manifested higher dimensions and all that wonderful multidimensionality. This is your host, Christian Marker, this bonus new edition of Fire for Liberty. I love you all.